The term conspiracy theory is essentially just a gigantic umbrella term for anything that disagrees with the official programmed version of reality that we are given from the government, banking, corporate, industrial complex that controls all of our mainstream media institutions. It heaps together legitimate accusations with complete nonsense. For example, the people who legitimately claim that the central banks that control us with debt and interest create most of the inequality in societies, and therefore most of the problems in the world, are correct. This is a completely fair and true statement. But then these independent and critical thinkers are lumped in with people who believe in the Loch Ness Monster, for example, as well as other ridiculous claims, most of which are controlled opposition designed to make the legitimate opposition look ridiculous. Some classic examples of controlled opposition would be Alex Jones, David Icke, and Joe Rogan. When you look into it further, you will find that the term conspiracy theory was invented by the CIA to discredit factual evidence that can hurt a government's credibility. It was put out into the mainstream media after President Kennedy's assassination, though they probably came up with the idea much earlier. Essentially, the term conspiracy theory was developed by the CIA to discredit those who use their critical thinking skills in seeking the truth, rather than believing what they have been told. If you use the term conspiracy theory in a doubtful or derogatory way, then you have been successfully programmed to follow the mainstream narrative, and you have failed to think for yourself.
Now, the Washington Post recently published an opinion piece whose premise is that people of all political inclinations believe a lot of far-fetched conspiracy theories, especially but not exclusively if you're a Donald Trump supporter. So why is legal and media analyst Lionel of Lionel Media so skeptical? Well, let's ask him. Lionel, what is the history of the conspiracy theory in terms of it being almost weaponized?
Precisely the case. In 1967, the CIA, in a memo, actually used the term, suggested that the term conspiracy theory be used in over 250 of the CIA pretty much run and controlled media outlets to be weaponized, but also to throw off people who were questioning at that particular time the Warren Commission. And to this day, it's still being used. Now, by the way, journalists should note that the commentary piece that you noticed is so breathtakingly incoherent that you have to really piece through it to wonder what is trying to be said. But there's some wonderful historical pieces, actually, that I think of. The great Gore Vidal said that he wasn't a conspiracy theorist, he was a conspiracy analyst. And he said that a conspiracy theory today is really a code word for the unspoken truth, and that today it's almost basically an article of faith that you cannot believe in these. What we're seeing, actually, is true to this day. The weaponization of the term conspiracy theory, along with fake news, as we know, in order to distort, to dilute, and to destroy anything advanced by alternative platforms, foreign media, and the like. And people, dare I say, and fear, young people in particular, are being habituated to this idea that all you have to do is merely say it's a conspiracy theory and all discussion ends.
All right, Lionel, so when is something a rumor or just wrong, and when is it a conspiracy?
That is the essence of this. Sometimes when we believe that, let's say, our government or a police force or somebody is not telling us the truth, maybe they're covering up something, that's not a conspiracy. Look, I'm a lawyer. I'm a former prosecutor. Conspiracy means basically a criminal act between two people, two confederates, trying to accomplish something. If I keep something from you, if I keep a secret from you on my own, I'm not conspiring with anybody. It's just I'm keeping the truth from you. I'm lying. So what we have to do is to realize that there's a full frontal attack on the part of the Washington Post, New York Times, to fight back. Because this is, remember, the fight for their lives. This is an existential threat that they fear. And what they do by putting these pieces out is to remind the folks, listen, if you don't see it here, It ain't true. And they bring up things like Pizzagate and Climategate, and it's the most intellectually convoluted hodgepodge and slapdash list of opinions. But it's true, Ashley. It's still being used as a dog whistle and as a term of weaponization as we speak.
So what is the purpose of these types of articles other than being used as weapons? Like, what's the purpose?
Well, one of the things they do is that they will say, well, say, for example, here, Pizzagate or Obama's birth or whatever. Well, there's obviously no proof of this. And what they do is they forget that, and maybe those are bad examples, that of a particular issue cited, there may be 1,000 issues. Maybe 10 of them are valid. Maybe the rest are bogus. But what they're doing is they're automatically saying there is nothing to this, nothing to see here, like the classic, nothing to see here, move along. So they're conditioning you. Whenever you see anything about, let's say, the Russians not hacking, that's not true. They're cementing, they're basically conspiring within an article that warns you against conspiracy theories. That's the ultimate irony of this. So what we're saying is, question more, where have I heard that? And also be apprised and be aware of how these terms are still being used today to basically turn off inquiry.
All right, Lionel, thank you so much for enlightening us. That was legal and media analyst Lionel of Lionel Media.